Yesterday afternoon, a spokesperson says the Democrat is asymptomatic. He's feeling well. Murphy has canceled his events, though, over the next 5 days. Some parents challenging New York City's indoor mask mandate for kids 5 and under, a lawsuit being filed today, claim city officials did not have the authority to impose the requirement and that they failed to explain their reasoning behind it. Come Monday, those kids will not have to wear a mask in school. A new study looks at the pandemic's toll on high school students. The CDC found more than a third have struggled with mental health issues since COVID began. Many say they feel hopeless and have stopped doing things they enjoy. Even more troubling, about 1 in 5 say they've seriously considered suicide. I'm Richard Barrabi, in for Elizabeth Hashagen. Welcome to our live special report, The New Normal. Today we're talking about mental health with a real focus on our kids. Joining us is DrLiz Matheis, a licensed clinical psychologist and certified school psychologist. DrLiz, good to see you again.
Good morning.
Remember, we want to hear from you for the next half hour. DrLiz is here to answer your questions as well. You can submit them right now on the live stream of this show on our Facebook pages. All right, Doctor, let's get right to that new study by the CDC. More than a third of high school students struggling with their mental health during the pandemic. What do you say to parents and caregivers who may see some things going on here, but they don't quite know how to help their children who are dealing with this?
I think it's absolutely very, very predominant right now. We're seeing a very strong effect of the last 2 years and the isolation and the loss of the events and life and the socializing. And so I know I'm seeing it on a professional level very much between young children, teens, college students who are struggling. They're struggling, they're anxious, they're depressed, so they're isolating and they're withdrawing. So parents are seeing this at home first.
When you hear 1 in 5 have seriously considered committing suicide, is that as staggering a number as it seems to me?
It's very alarming. It's very alarming that we have so many children walking around with the idea of wanting to harm themselves or end their lives because they feel so hopeless and helpless and don't feel that they can ask for help or make changes in the areas where they feel the worst.
DrLiz, why do they feel helpless? Is it because they have been constrained in so many ways? Is it because they don't see, a prospect for a better future? Why do they feel that way?
I think the isolation and just has created such a feelings of sadness and feelings of anxiety, not knowing whether we're going to isolate, wear masks, not wear masks. All this back and forth has created such a lack of control for our children. And the things that were once predictable are no longer predictable and no longer feel predictable. And our children have grown over time. Developmentally, there were so many milestones that they needed to hit. And maybe they didn't have those opportunities and maybe it's been delayed. But there's, I think, a great sense of loss of control over things that were very much a part of our daily life that we just knew were going to happen. They were predictable and consistent, and now they're not.
So, you've been on the show in the past and you've talked about some of the warning signs, but my question is, do those warning signs manifest themselves in different ways depending on the age group we're talking about here? And what are those different ways?
I'm sorry, Richard, you just froze. Can you repeat your question?
Yes, so the warning signs, which you've spoken about on the show before, how do they manifest themselves differently in different age groups?
With younger children, there's a lot of acting out and a lot of agitation. Again, we're not going to see anxiety and depression in the traditional way that we know it to look like, right? So with children, adolescents, it's going to look differently. With our younger ones, there's just a lot of acting.
We're having some technical issues here with DrLiz. We've been talking about different things that have gone on throughout the pandemic. This is certainly one of those, right? So we'll try to get that connection back. The topic we're discussing here today is how our children are dealing with all of this and how they are, what's the status of their mental health right now. We've had 2+ years of the pandemic, of course. Now we try to move forward. And it's not easy to just flip a switch and say, okay, back to normal. Ditch the masks, go see our friends. This is 2 years of development for so many that has been difficult to deal with. I think we've all felt that, whether you're an adult, whether you're a small child, in different ways. Different people have handled it, no doubt about that. But so many challenges here as we continue to move forward. You know, DrLiz was talking about how she is seeing this very often. She's not surprised by those numbers. Again, that CDC study, 1 in 5 teenagers, high schoolers actually, saying they have strongly considered suicide as an option. Think about that, 20%, 1 in 5. How do we help those kids? How do we make sure that we're actually seeing what's taking place too? I mean, this is not always the most transparent thing, as you well know. And so that's why DrLiz is back with us now as we continue to try to reestablish her connection, which we will do here, to get her insight on that. There's so many different things going on. Also, when you talk about domestic violence, right? We had DrLiz on the show last week. She spoke at length about this issue. We've also had other experts on talking about how there was a major uptick in domestic violence cases in the home throughout the pandemic, whether it was an adult and a child, whether it was 2 adults, a man and a woman, woman and man, man and man, woman and woman, didn't seem to matter, right? Domestic violence across the board had gone up. All right, I think DrLiz is back with us now. We've reestablished that connection. So DrLiz, back to where we were here, the warning signs for parents who are hearing about this study and they're saying, I really got to double check what's going on here with my own child.
So I don't know where we stopped, but I'm going to move on to teens who my main points are to ask parents, what have you seen differently in the last 3 months or 6 months? Are you seeing your child behave differently? Are they different in the academic domain, in their friendships, in their eating habits and sleeping habits? So really looking at social functioning, emotional functioning, academic functioning, and behavioral functioning. Where are you seeing those changes? Are you seeing changes? And they don't have to be sudden. They can be very gradual. So it's looking to see what has changed. For example, did you have a child who was able to complete homework and hand it in and perform well overall in school and take responsibility for all the school-related things, but now they can't and they're not? So looking at changes, you know, were they once social and now they're not? Are they more agitated or angry or acting out?
Yeah, it's so important to be able to recognize these different warning signs and also have the recognition that it's not always very clear.